Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend DG Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks podcast.
In brightest day,
in blackest nights,
no evil shall escape my sight,
but those who worship evil's might.
Beware my power.
Green Lantern's light. Hello and welcome back to Sector 2814, the Green Lantern podcast. I am Phil. Joining me as always, Master of the Core, it is.
I am Will. Hey, everyone.
And once again, no Matt Kona, hopefully soon, but if you need a Matt Kona fix, stay tuned. We'll tell you where to get that.
Yeah.
You're able to drag him out for one night.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Uh-oh, he's right into it. What is it?
We've been doing a show together for like 4 years now, right?
Yeah, I think April might be exactly 4 years, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's coming up, yeah.
So, our intro that you have there, that's a newer one. How old was the first one? How old was he when he did the first one? And how old is he now? Because he's getting older.
Who, Kona?
No, Luca.
Oh, yeah. That's like that might be the second one I've had him do. I know I had him do one before, but this one's probably only like maybe a year or little or more old. Yeah,
So how old is he now?
Will, it's funny you should ask. On Saturday, he will be 9.
9. Wow.
Yes.
March
5th.
March 5th.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. On March 9th, my little tiny babies will be 26. So
babies, he says, as they tower over him.
At 6'3", they do tower over me. Yes.
Yes, my little tiny baby just squeaked in on March 5th because he was born at like 11:19 at night. So
the boys were born in the afternoon. I talk to my mom, and I was born like 6 or 7 at night, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a night owl. It started out that way.
Yeah, I was born in the afternoon. It was like 2 something. Yeah.
Yeah, the boys were at 2:22 and 2:50. So
yeah, Luca was like 11:19 at night, and
so is he a night owl?
Yeah, I feel like let him stay up. He'll stay up. Yeah.
He's going to be crushed by capitalism, man. Capitalism doesn't care about us people with night owl circadian rhythms.
I know.
Don't let it crush him. He needs to stay up till 2 and get up at 10. That's the perfect time right there.
School doesn't allow that, William.
I know. Neither does work.
We try our damnedest. I know. So, William, did you hear there's a new movie coming out this weekend?
Is it Moon Knight? No.
Oh, no. I'll give you a hint.
Batman. My favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
But I know it's funny. We talked to Jed McKay, the current writer of Moon Knight, on Friday night, and yes, I believe he summed up Moon Knight quite well.
Moon Knight, a guy who runs around in a white outfit, relieving people of their facial features.
Cut a guy's face off.
Nice. Was anybody else that we know kind of, in on that interview with you? Or, I'm sure he wouldn't want to talk to Moon Knight's, writer.
Well, see, the week before me, Lilith and Charlie talked to him. Ray had to get his second chat in with Mr. Jed McKay. So,
okay.
Yes, don't worry. Ray has talked to him. And yes, like I said, like a week before we did it, he did his second time. So
nice. Very nice.
Yeah, no, don't worry. It comes to Moon Knight. Ray is not getting
scooped at all, huh?
No. Moon Knight, the Batman. He's there for all of it.
Into the Dark Knight, all to do with Batman.
Do we want to mention a certain Matt Kona fix at this point, or do we want to wait till after?
No, that's fine.
Because I have something. I have something that we all discussed greatly.
Yes, the Quasar figure. Oh, he put it back in the box. Yeah.
I haven't put it up in its place yet. It's still here on the table. So
yes, kids, in honor of the Marvel Legends Quasar figure coming out. Yes, me, William, and young Master Kona got together and did an episode of the Quantum Zone, the show we did before this show. Yeah, Saturday night. So if you're seeing this on the YouTube live, I mean the episode's gonna go. The Quantum Zone is gonna go up tomorrow on Capes and Lunatics. If you're listening to this on the podcast, it's already up. So yeah, go over to Capes and Lunatics. It'll be Quantum Zone episode 153. It'll be about the only one you'll see around that time.
Yeah, because we finished the Quantum Zone about a year ago, a little over a year ago.
Yeah, I think it was like last January, wasn't it?
Yep, I think so.
Yep.
Not because we didn't like it. We kind of ran out of issues. I mean, we did 152 of them, okay, or 151, I guess, because we had that annual that we went back and did, during the summer. So
don't worry, we'll dip our toe back in, when he shows up in the comics again, or he makes his appearance in the MCU.
Oh yeah, that would be I hope that's cool.
Hopefully everything's normal by then, but we're still a little sensitive to COVID at that point. Say Quasar shows up in a movie. Are you going to risk it and go to the theater, Will?
Probably. Probably.
See Will there in a hazmat suit.
I don't know that my wife would join me. The boys would probably be like, "We're down, Dad. We got you."
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
We're going to see the Batman on Saturday.
Awesome. That's a good 9th birthday present right there.
Yes, and I'm probably going to go to the first show, because it's usually not that crowded. But hopefully none of them are too crowded because yes. What is it, like a 20 or 22 screen theater? From 11:30 in the morning on Saturday, Will, to 11 o'clock at night, there is a showing starting every half hour.
Nice. I think they're expecting the Batman to be the shiznit, right?
Yeah. I've been seeing some reviews, nothing spoilery, but it looks like the reviewers are liking it.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people just kind of non-spoilery Twitter posts, going, yeah. So cool.
Very noir.
Yeah.
I see. No. So
Batman this week, 24th for Moon Knight?
No, I think it might be I believe it might be the 30th, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because that's like 2 days before my birthday, so I was like,
happy early birthday in case I forget, but hopefully I won't.
In a month. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's March 30th, so.
Oh.
Or wait a minute. Or is it the 31st? Because when's it dropping? Wednesday or Thursday? I'm pretty sure it's oh, wait a second. I did see a image today.
Oh yeah, they had the Mr. Knight mask, right?
Yes. March 30th. Yes. So
March 30th. All right, awesome.
That's
very cool.
That's right. Disney does do Wednesdays. So yes, March 30th. I know that Mr. Knight, man.
And then it's not long. Is it May for Multiverse of Madness?
I believe so. Yeah, because Disney always tries to get that first weekend in May. I believe that is Doctor Strange. Yeah. Then I think is it Thor? I think's in July or something. Yeah,
that sounds about right. So it's they're starting to wind things back up to normal production, right?
Mm-hmm. And then I believe I saw it was at the end of this month. No Way Home's coming soon on digital, and then like 2 weeks later or something on Blu-ray. So
cool, very cool. I'll finally get to watch that.
Probably
watch the others. I probably need to rewatch some Spider-Man movies. We'll see how that works out.
But no, yeah, it's good. You won't be disappointed.
Nice.
So what else is going on?
Oh, I caught up on Green Lantern, read number 11, which is very interesting. John Stewart is
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that on the air. That was off the air.
yeah. He's kind of a boss, right?
Mhm.
Had my boy Hal in it.
I was gonna say you had a lot
Yeah.
of your boy Hal, yeah.
And yeah, I know I've said this about 1,000 times. Month to month, I feel like the pace was a little slow,
Yeah.
but I think reading it all together, it'll be fine,
Mhm.
but the month to month, it did seem to drag a little in the middle, but
Yeah, I mean that's modern storytelling. Some writers do it better than others, but
Mhm.
it's something sometimes when you're just like, we're still here.
And when I think the first trade for it's out, like first the first 4 or 6 issues, maybe.
Mm.
And then the other one I think has been solicited. So yeah, I mean, I really, not that it reads bad month to month. It's just it seems like we're not. It's always good to leave them wanting more, but not too much more, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, and I wonder. I wonder if it affects his plans at all with the whole Justice League thing, where it's like, are they going to kill off John Stewart in Justice League? So it looks like they're killing off a Lantern,
I really don't think.
and we
I
see
hope it's
Hal alive.
not.
We see Hal alive and well on that
Yeah.
advertisement. So yeah, so it's not Hal.
Well, if you're gonna kill John, you're gonna have to come with a really big gun, okay? Because
True.
unless something happens in 12, and that's certainly
But
within the
again,
realm of
but again,
possibility.
too, I bet you they're not going to die. They're going to be like stranded somewhere. So I mean,
Yeah,
you don't have to really kill John; just contain him.
yeah, that's true. I don't know. I mean,
I
I
mean, if he's a
feel
guardian, all you have to do to stop him is be like, "Hey, I'm going to take over the core and take your ring off, man." He's like,
yeah.
they're powerless for that.
I feel like I have no information. This is just my gut instinct. I feel like it's going to be Kyle.
Ooh, maybe.
I mean that
No.
because we know it's not Hal.
Yeah.
Guy is Guy. I love Guy. As a character in the core, but as a Justice League, he's not really a Justice League kind of guy. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, they really haven't had a lantern in the league lately, but yeah, the last time they had a lantern, I'm just guessing because it was John. John
Mhm.
was like the last lantern to be in the league. So
Yeah. Now and then, well, was Jessica in the league?
yeah. I think what was it? Was it around the time of like when Rebirth started? I think was it her and Simon both, or they were taking turns or something? Yeah,
So I mean, it could be one of those. I bet Kyle just seems the bigger character if they're gonna, put someone, to
yeah.
death. Then I feel like it'll be since it's not Hal. Then, we're good. Um, I don't know. I just and this is just a guess. This is not me knowing anything, or
Yeah.
this is just me saying, I think it might be Kyle.
Maybe that's part of the reason he's kept them out of the story for the most part. It's just like so we don't have to like worry about continuity and timing and
Yeah,
stuff.
and we've also got, we've got nothing on. There was a panel of Aricia that looked like she might be dead, but she's got healing powers, so she can
Yeah.
potentially come back. So who knows? We've got to see Kilowog. We've got to see Salak. But we haven't seen Guy or Kyle at all.
Yep. Nope.
And I think they were left as honor guard because they didn't go with John, right?
What Kilowog wasn't he powered? Wasn't his ring out of commission?
Yeah, because he went with John. He showed up, on another planet. That John showed up, when he first encountered, I think, the Godstorm. Spoilers.
I'm just looking up Death of the Justice League to see. They name it. They're killing on. Yeah, Death of the Justice League will kill 9 major heroes. They named the Lantern.
Oh, okay. Who is it?
All right, we got Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and in parentheses it says Jon Stewart.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes. Martian Manhunter, Hawkgirl, Aquaman, and Green Arrow, Black Canary, and Zatanna.
Huh. That seems seems like the Justice League Unlimited lineup almost, right?
Oh,
From
wait.
the
Yeah.
cartoon?
Yeah. It says, oh, wait, there's 10. It says, of those heroes, only one will be returning to let the rest of the world know what happened to their colleagues.
Okay. So,
Yes.
the ones that have coffins probably aren't the ones that are returning.
Yeah. So yeah, it starts in Justice League 75, the first, issue that's not Bendis. So
Oh, okay.
and not so coincidentally coincides with the 30th anniversary of the death of Superman. So
wow. Hard to believe that was 30 years ago.
let's kill him again and his friends this time.
Yeah. You and your little friends too.
How do we commemorate
so
the anniversary of his death? More death.
I wonder if that Justice League story is going to take place before this Green Lantern arc.
I don't know, because I thought I saw. I mean, they haven't been too forthcoming with the answers, but I thought I saw somewhere where they were like, "Oh, DC's been hinting. Oh, this might be a little bit in the future. I don't know if that means weeks, months, years, but it's like maybe a little bit past where we're at right now." So,
interesting. Okay. You'll have to fill me in as this keeps going.
Wait a minute.
Current Green Lantern series still really good.
Yes. I was going to say, did I mention a Flash there or no? Because I thought I saw a Flash. Wasn't there a Flash coffin on there?
There was. Let's count them: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the big three.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart, Green Lantern.
The list on was this CBR. It's not mentioning a Flash. So,
Martian Manhunter was one of them. Zatanna.
Yeah, I got it. Yes, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Jon Stewart, Martian Manhunter, Hawkgirl, Aquaman, Green Arrow, Black Canary.
Green Arrow, Black Canary. Okay.
Zatanna, yeah.
So that's 11, but only 8 of them are going to die.
So 9 are going to die.
9 are going to die.
Oh, good Lord. Where's that death? Where's that death picture?
Math
yeah.
is hard.
Oh, yeah. There's a picture of them. Yeah. I don't see any Flash in that picture. Okay, I was wrong. Yeah, there was no Flash. Oh yeah, I see. I found the picture. Everyone standing around. There's only 5 coffins in that picture. Yeah, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman,
Green Lantern,
and Aquaman. Yeah.
Huh.
Because they have their families around each one.
And those coffins have the logos. Not the logos, the symbols.
Yes. And of course we have to keep Black Adam alive because he has a movie coming.
Yes, very important.
Yeah, so because they called out Jon Stewart. No, yeah, because I'm looking at this image with everyone standing around the coffins. Cal's in the picture.
Oh, he is. Okay. Yep, I see him.
Yeah, he's behind Simon. Yeah. Yeah, because I remember I was like the only 2 lanterns we don't see there are John and Guy. So.
Those are our choices.
Man, we're really doing nothing with Guy these days.
So that means you should never listen to my instincts because I was totally wrong.
I mean, it wasn't a bad guess,
but it was totally wrong.
Hey, man, they had like a 75% or a 33% chance. Come on.
I know. The odds are ever not in my favor. Is that the way that works?
God. All right, you want to get to our issues for tonight?
You bet.
I believe these all actually have synopses too. So
awesome.
So yes, kids, we're covering the 4-part hard traveling heroes, the next generation. I just hear that Star Trek
theme should come up. Yeah, we should totally have that. Dun, 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 dun.
Green Lantern 76 and 77, and Green Arrow 110 and 111.
Mm-hmm.
So It all starts in Green Lantern, Volume 3, number 76 from July 1996.
However,
However,
76 is a very important number in Green Lantern,
oh, yes, and this cover
mythology.
homages the original, yes.
Exactly. Number 76, the original Hard Traveling Heroes with Hal and Ollie.
Yep.
And the old timer, who we know what happened to him because we talked about it in one of our early shows.
I believe episode 4, kids, check it out. Hard Traveling Heroes, The Next Generation, Part 1, Family Traditions. Let's see. We got writer, friend of the show, Ron Mars.
This is Ron Mars. You are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Penciler, Paul Pelletier. He's back. Inkers, Romeo Tangle. Colorist, Pamela Rambo. Letterer, Albert de Guzman. And editor, Kevin Dooley. So Pelletier's back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and as I was looking through, we get an awesome cover in Green Lantern 78. It's a Daryl Banks.
Yes.
We'll talk about that again when we get there.
Oh yeah, I believe that's already next week. So again, no Guy Gardner, no Dark Stars, kids.
Yeah, we're moving and grooving.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this one starts. Green Arrow is on patrol in San Francisco and intervenes when a hooker is threatened by 4 men at once. Arrow is at a disadvantage as one of the guys strikes him down from behind and points a gun at him. But suddenly, Green Lantern appears, and together, both heroes are able to defeat the 4 thugs with ease. Well, I'm hoping with a power ring, you could defeat 4 thugs with ease.
Yeah, yeah, with not even with almost zero effort. Yes.
Gosh, we do it with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
Cal explains that he wants to search for his father and asks for Connor's help because he grew up without a father as well. Also, both heroes trust each other enough to reveal their secret identities to each other. I love Cal. I don't know if this is how this works, but fam, Cal Rayner.
Yeah, and Connor, it's pretty cool and all, but he looks the same with his mask on or with his mask off. I mean, it's a domino mask, right?
Again, well, you have to go with the rules of this universe. Domino masks, glasses, they're all
gotcha. Okay.
Legitimate disguises, yes.
Gotcha.
All right. So what did you think? Did you buy the whole thing with Cal, the whole reason for him going to look for his father? It's kind of like he came out of nowhere after 75. It's just like, oh, hey, I want to go. I mean, Ron Mars tried to link it into like, oh, hey, I saw all the daddy issues Graven had last issue.
Well, I think it was, and again, I don't know this, but
was he rushing too because he wanted to start it at 76? Just like,
I don't know if he wanted to start it at 76 or editorial wanted to start at 76, but because it was 76, I think that's where it had to start, because that's where the original Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams run started, was at 76.
Yeah. And I wonder if just like 76 was also the perfect point because we got we have Final Night coming, so we have a crossover coming,
and we just finished a short story arc that ended with a number 75, right? Which had which was the Graven stuff. So, which should have really been part of that arc, but we already discussed that.
People were getting cut down by blaster fire in last episode, kids. In this issue 75, not oregano rays or anything like that.
Yeah. Nice.
I know my history.
You do.
Green Arrow arranges a meeting with an informant of his named Eddie Fires, who used to work
not
in his old
Flyers.
Not Friars. Fires. F-Y. The man did some research and found an address which is connected to Cal's dad named Aaron Rayner. Green Lantern and Green Arrow immediately take off and talk about their history while traveling. For those of you who read Green Arrow's book and maybe not know how Cal got his ring, or those of you who only read Green Lantern and don't know that Connor Hawke is this illegitimate son of all of them.
And we get a nice double-page splash of Hal and and Ollie,
Yeah.
right? So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nice because like they, I think that's Chuck Dixon, isn't
Yeah.
it? Who did the Connor? Yeah, he kind of took Connor and like the 180 of Oliver. You know, Oliver's the ladies' man. Connor has like no experience with women. He spent a lot of years in a monastery. He's a pacifist, but he can still kick butt. But he's a pacifist.
Kick all kinds of butt.
I mean, sometimes that's genius just to go in the opposite direction. Because I know, like 5 years ago, Charlie and I talked to Peter David, and I asked him a little about Spider-Man 2099, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they were asking for everybody for pitches about Spider-Man 2099." You know, and people were coming up with, "Oh, it's Peter Parker's descendant, this, that." So Peter David's just like, you know what? I took Peter Parker, I did the opposite of everything that Peter Parker was, and just, you know, like Peter was a teenager when he started. I made Miguel an adult. You know, Peter had trouble with women. Miguel was engaged when we first meet him. You know, he's like, I invented organic web shooters first before any of those movies.
Organic web shooters, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's like, I just did the opposite of everything Peter Parker was, and they loved it.
It's opposite day.
Exactly. You know, Peter stuck the walls. Miguel had like talons in his fingers.
Yeah, and Chuck Dixon, I mean, he's written a lot of good comics. You know, Birds of Prey. I mean, he had like a multi-year run on that. You know, he's on Green Arrow for a long time.
Detective Comics, Nightwing, Robin, all at like the same time.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because I believe there's a crossover at one point. It's like one issue of like Detective, Green Arrow, Nightwing, and is Robin in there? There's like a big crossover, and it's all Chuck Dixon.
I gotta talk to the writer. Oh, that's me. And I gotta talk to the writer. Oh, that's me.
Hey, whatever works. So we get the big splash montages. Also Connor talks about how he approached his father, Oliver Queen, when they met for the first time. Oh Lord, here we go. During a break in a diner, it comes to an altercation with a sheriff who did not like how two outsiders flirted with his daughter, you know, who works as the waitress in the restaurant. The heroes were able to handle the situation, and a little later they arrive at the wait a minute. They handle the situation. That's all it's
they beat up some local.
Well, it's not a bar room, but it's a brawl.
Yeah,
because the sheriff wants to throw him out, and Cal's like, "We didn't do nothing wrong." And then, you know, once they fight their way out of there, Connor's like, "You know what? I didn't want to do, you know."
Yeah.
So yes, so we kind of flipping the script here, where Green Lantern is the hothead. Yes.
Yeah. Totally.
The heroes they handle the situation. A little later, they arrive at the address Fires gave them. Sadly, Aaron Rayner does not live there anymore, but the landlady knows the new address of Cal's dad. It is located in a city called Desolation.
Which is also from the original Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams run.
Because I mean, that has to be that's a different city than the one Rose was from, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Desolation's the mining town.
Yes.
Well, it was. It was. Now it's Lawyer Central.
So what do you think of the first one, Will?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean,
we're kind of setting up, and we're getting, the two guys are pretty much meeting.
And there's not a lot of subtlety in the oh wait, they don't get it. They're not in Desolation at the end of this yet, are they? Just see it, right?
No, yeah, they basically
on their way. Yeah.
Panel with the sign. It's like, you were entering Desolation. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. The art's nice. It's a pretty good superhero story. I think it did feel a little rushed from on the story side. I don't think the art felt rushed, but the story felt, because you're right, going immediately from Graven to looking for his dad, maybe that could have percolated a little bit, but the number 76 was too good to pass up. So
Yeah. And like I said too, that we got Final Night coming, so maybe he's trying to squeeze this in under the wire. So,
and we don't know, but it just
when you think about it, I mean, I think the first Final Night crossover is 80. So I wonder if he didn't know if he was going to get the crossover with the actual Green Arrow book, because if you think about it, 76, 77, 78, 79.
And then 80, yeah.
So maybe he's like, oh, you know what? If I have to, I'll squeeze it into 4 Green Lanterns, but if not, I can do 2 and
then
do it with their book. Yeah. Because I don't know what Connor's sales were, but I bet you, they were probably like, oh yeah, let's cross over with the new Green Lantern. Yeah.
Well, and there's so much history, with Green Lantern and Green Arrow. So I've got my space traveling Green Lantern, Green Arrow space traveling heroes up there somewhere.
So half the story is Chuck Dixon, right?
Yep.
Yep. So should we get to the second part? Speaking of Mr. Chuck Dixon, should we get there?
Let's do it.
All right. We open up this window. All right, kids. So yes, part 2 is in Green Arrow, volume 2, number 110 from July 1996. Hard Traveling Heroes, The Next Generation, part 2, Desolation Again. But yes, writer Chuck Dixon, penciler Rudolfo DiMaggio, inker Robert Campanella, colorist Lee Lothridge, letterer John Costanza, and editor Darren Vincenzo. So yes, kids, different writer, different art team. So
the works.
Yes. So Green Arrow tells Green Lantern that his father talked about desolation as one of the hotbeds of sin in America. Wow. Cal only hopes that this is no longer the case and that he will find his dad there. And as both heroes arrive in Desolation, they are quite surprised how clean and fresh the city looks. I love how you open the first page and I was like, wait a minute, they're driving in the town in costume, but then they're driving like a ring created car. So I'm like, okay. Glowing car. Maybe you guys better be wearing your costume masks at least. Yeah.
Otherwise, they're gonna kind of know. Yeah.
In a restaurant, they find out that the city somehow specialized in damage compensation, starting way back when the local mining company was sued. Cal thinks that maybe his father started a career as a lawyer after resigning from the military. Both heroes visit a police station. The responsible officer cannot find anyone named Aaron Rayner in his files, but Connor is sure that he is lying. Indeed, after they leave the office, the officer immediately calls someone to inform him that they are looking for Aaron Rayner. Cal still thinks a lot about how to approach his father. He does not think that Connor's advice from personal experiences are that helpful, and therefore a little tension is growing between them. But for now, both heroes get into their costumes to look for some action. But it does not take long, and they attract interest from the police. Cal does not want to tell them why they are visiting Desolation, and so the officers decide to arrest them both. Green Lantern and Green Arrow flee from the scene, although Connor would have preferred to cooperate with the police. Suddenly, they are attacked by a guy in colorful armor who calls himself Hatchet. With the police joining the fight, it does not get easier for the two heroes, but in the end, they are able to defeat Hatchet. As Green Lantern turns around, a man approaches him, and Cal immediately recognizes his father. Thoughts?
You would think an artist would be better at facial recognition, but whatever. Spoiler.
Well, yeah,
it's a blurry picture. It's a blurry
not to
picture.
get to the ending yet, but it's like the guy's kind of can look somewhat similar to it. Yeah.
I did a quick lookup of Aaron Rayner. It looks like he first appeared in Green Lantern or Green Arrow 111.
111?
Yeah.
I was going to say, this is 110, but okay.
Yes. And apparently we don't see him again until the Power of Ion series.
Ew.
At least according to this.
is that pre or is that out or is that New 52 or is that before?
He shows up in the New 52 with the Rise of the Third Army.
I can't. Oh, I love that Power of Ion. I can't. It's been so long since I read that. Does he resurrect
In the New
there?
52, the events of Power of Ion don't seem to have happened. So,
New 52.
New 52.
New 52. New 52. Oh, don't worry. We're going to get the Power of Ion eventually.
Yeah, we'll get there. You know, it's
So,
been.
okay.
I'm trying to remember. I'm sure I read it, but I just don't remember it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
As a man in the biz, do you think it would be more fun or more of a headache, like having to do a relay race like this, where it's like a 4-part story and you only get to do 2 of the parts? You get to do every other part.
Well, it's funny you should mention that.
Oh,
A really good friend of mine, Kevin Joseph, is the writer of Tart, which he has kickstarted 14 issues on Kickstarter. In fact, I think I've got the latest one. I haven't opened it up yet, but he and I are actually going to crossover division in Tart. So what we did is we approached the issue. It was really fun. We opened, we started a Google Doc and we kind of explained, so these are some of our ideas, and then we started. So he would write like 3 or 4 pages, then I would write 3 or 4 pages, and then he would write 3 or 4, and I would write 3 or 4 until we got to the single issue.
Okay.
And then we would, and then we've come back with editors and we've looked over and, he'll tweak dialogue of Tart where, I've not got it right on like it should be. And I would tweak some stuff for, Hank and Hector and Crossover Division, but it was a lot of fun. So I could see how doing something like this would just be a blast, going, hey, I haven't got to play with, you're playing with my toys, but I'm getting to play with your toys. So we're just getting to play with all the toys, which is cool. Right.
Yeah. I just wonder, you guys are doing what, 3 or 4 pages at a time? You got a whole issue.
Yeah, you got a whole issue,
a whole another issue from another guy.
And and then the Green Arrow series has its own editor, and then the Green Lantern series has its own editor.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that would be there's a whole this is corporate comics, not creator owned indie stuff like that Kevin and I are doing. But I still think it would be kind of fun because you're getting to work with another writer. You're getting to work with a great team. Your normal team of doing, Ron Mars and Paul Pelletier or Daryl Banks and the rest of the team. But being able to work with another writer and potentially another editor to make sure that you get everything right for their stuff in your book, and then your editor making sure that they get everything right. Plus, you're probably working with the writer. I would hope that you're working with the writer as hey, I'm doing this. Is that all right? Or but I think it would be a blast.
Yeah, and again, too, I'm sure they were like, hey, if you're only reading one of these books and not the other, hey, take a look at this other book.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm trying to remember if I eventually I went back and got all these Connor issues, but I'm trying to remember if this was the first time I dove into the Connor stuff or not. It might have been.
I think it probably. I mean, I know Ollie was killed, not too long before.
Yeah, issue 101. Yeah,
101.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is probably my first exposure to Connor. What back then was reading these issues because Green Arrow wasn't a book that I normally picked up at that point.
Yeah, but then he shows up in JLA after a while too. So
yeah,
takes down the key.
Speaking of JLA,
oh yeah, we're getting there soon. Yes, kids. After final night, yeah, and a certain funeral, yeah.
For whom, I wonder.
We're gonna be crossing over with Lilith Hellfire. Oh man, I was.
Let me get a ride on your alligator back, bro.
She hasn't even heard that yet. She's crazy.
I don't do Twinkies or toaster strudels, so.
Okay, that's not random at all.
Sometimes the random's the best. All right. So anything else on the second one, or should we get to issue 3? I like the cover of this one too.
Yeah.
You know, which is like the two of them on that white cover, and you get the kind of like the classic looking logo almost, and then just the word bubbles, and very like throwback cover.
Very much so. Yeah, this is nice. I thought this was a pretty good issue. I mean, it was still, it was moving things along.
Yeah.
Trying to think, the ending of this issue. What was the ending of this issue? We ended with
Cal's dad.
Yeah, dad. The concept of a secret identity is kind of lost, maybe, on him. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, why don't you make sure this is your father before you're like, oh hey, is your name Aaron Rayner? I'm your son.
I have a superhero that I can manipulate into launching something for me. Sorry, spoilers.
But yeah, this art team was, it's a different style than like Pelletier, but I mean, I like it, but it's like a different style,
Banks,
two different styles, but yeah.
I think Pelletier gets really close, but I really think it's hard for a lot of artists to really get Kyle's design just spot on, and really nail it like Daryl Banks does. I mean, because it's his design, right? So he's, but I think Pelletier does a really good job. I think Howard Porter does a really good job when we get to JLA.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying, like this Green Arrow art team, I liked it, but it's different than the Green Lantern stuff.
Oh yeah, it's a lot, and it makes sense. It's more realistic, less cartoony. It's because they're dealing with more street level type stuff.
Yeah, they want regular Green Arrow. Yeah, it's more street level. Yeah,
they want more realism. Make it seem a little bit grittier. And all that. But which is not Kyle's book. But I think they did a really good job of making it, work across all 4 issues.
Yes, definitely. All right, so should we get the third book?
You bet.
All right. So we jump back to Green Lantern Kids for the Green Lantern Volume 3, number 77. August 1996. Hard Traveling Heroes: The Next Generation, Part 3. Is there no title? It says it's the next Hard Traveling Heroes Next Generation Part 3. There's no title. Same team as the first issue. Oh boy. Aaron Rayner invites Green Lantern and Green Arrow into a bar. What is this, a joke?
Sounds like a setup, doesn't it?
Green Lantern and his dad walk into a bar.
With Green Arrow.
They should have seen it coming. Into a bar where Cal quickly reveals that he is his son.
Like immediately.
I know. Arrow, I was just waiting for him to hand him that damn ring, like he always like.
Yeah. Hey, does this work for you too, Dad?
Oh my god! I mean, is it any blood connection? Because it might have worked. It might have worked.
Might have worked. I don't know.
So Green Arrow leaves the table, so his father and son are able to talk privately. Cal is quite angry, but Aaron seems to be happy to finally meet his son. He explains that 20 years ago, he accepted a secret intelligence job, which included never being able to return home. It was the toughest decision in his life, and he sincerely hopes his son is able to forgive him. Actually, he thinks that Cal may help him serve this country. Cal wants to learn more. Thus, him and Green Arrow accompany Aaron Rayner to a military base, which is hidden inside a mountain. Connor thinks that Aaron Rayner's loose talk sounds a little too, it says patriotic, but I was going to say, should that be paranoid?
Paranoid, radical, yeah. I mean, and I think it says military base, but it kind of screams lair, Yeah.
Yeah, give me vibes. I don't know what.
How about new?
Exactly. I mean, it's not under $1
million. After introducing the heroes to an attractive woman named Crackshot, Aaron shows them a communication satellite, which he intends to bring in the orbit to be able to reach out to all American citizens. Reach out. He asks if Green Lantern could get the satellite into orbit. While Cal agrees, Green Arrow remains skeptical, but Connor still accompanies his friend into space to bring the satellite into operation. In space, Green Arrow argues about the intentions of Cal's father, and of course, Green Lantern is offended by that. A small brawl between them is the consequence, but in the end, Connor has to back off because without Cal, he's not able to return safely to Earth. But when they are back on the ground, Cal wishes to part ways with Connor. After returning from space, Cal reports to his father that the mission was successful. Meanwhile, Green Arrow is already on the way to the hotel. When he enters his room, Crackshot grabs and kisses him, but she also holds a gun behind her back. Talk about your safe sex.
Or unsafe.
All right, Will. So what did you think?
This gets it. I guess probably the only real problem I had with the story was Crackshot. I was like, wait, what? Why is? I mean, there's some. Oh, he's my boss, but he's a little bit crazy, so I'm quitting, kind of thing. But it just didn't ring kind of true, and maybe that gets worked out further down the line in the Green Arrow book.
I was going to say, I believe she shows up again in the Green. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I read those. I think she does show up again in the Green Arrow books. So I think she's attracted to Connor. You know, they're playing up that. You know, he had, without even trying, he has that animal magnetism his father had.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's for them, and for those of you who don't know, like the whole like arc. I mean, I think what this book go to like 137 or something, and it's basically Connor's like, I believe my dad's alive. I'm going to look for him. There's even a story where he thinks he finds Oliver, but it turns out to be what's his face, Travis Morgan, Warlord.
Oh,
because of the beard, you know.
Beard.
But yeah, he's like, oh, he's alive. And then they end the series, and then Kevin Smith does the reboot, and he's like, oh no, you know, he was dead. He was blown to bits in that airplane explosion. He did not get out. But no,
And
Parallax brought him back. Parallax brought him back.
Parallax again. The Parallax.
Hey man, he brought Green Arrow back to life.
Yeah.
Before he did something else in Final Night. I love it's like right before he went off to do this one thing in Final Night, he brought Green Arrow back.
Yeah, he's like, okay, cool. We're just gonna do that.
Yeah, I remembered most of this story, the gist of it, but I kind of forgot how politically charged it was. I mean, especially since I haven't read this in a few years, so in our current political climate, I was like, ooh. You know, because is it this issue or the next one or both where Aaron Rayner's just like, yeah, they're soft-hearted liberals, you know?
Well, you know, and he's not exactly portrayed in the best light, so
no. But I'm just like, you know, a couple years ago, this would have rung a little too close,
too close to the truth. Yeah. Not that it's still not close, but yeah, I got you.
Because didn't he like? I don't think they were his exact words, but didn't he kind of hint around, or he said something about making America? He didn't say I don't think he literally said "Make America Great Again," but it was something along those lines.
All those lines, yeah, it was close.
I was like, ooh.
And it wasn't exactly subtle, so
yeah. Well, he was the villain. Will,
I know.
But anyway, back to this story.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was. I mean, this got us from point B to or point C to point D. So,
I mean, we had to get that satellite. Had to get that satellite in orbit, which we did.
Yeah, and if you look at Mars, friend of the show, Ron Mars, his issues are a little bit breezier. They're a little bit quicker of a read than the Green Arrows, and that's, I think Dixon his pages are a little denser. he has a few more panels,
Yeah.
on most pages, and there's probably some, more caption, more dialogue, typically. And it's interesting, but I mean, I think the story still flowed really well across all three of or all 4 issues. So
Yeah. Because I was gonna say different writing styles, and I think Dixon was on Green Arrow longer than Mars was on Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, I think he'd been on there years before Mars took over Green Lantern. Maybe
yeah.
not.
So I think he was Dixon on here when Oliver was still here. I think maybe
so. Yeah.
Yeah. And two, like we said, I mean, Chuck Dixon had like look how many books he wrote, and most of them were street level.
Yeah.
Detective Comics, Nightwing, Robin, Green Arrow, Birds of Prey, all street level. So
we'll see when he took over Green Arrow. So if you want to go ahead and read the next one, I will find out when he started writing Green Arrow.
I can't. All right. All right, kids. So it all ends in Green Arrow, Volume 2, number 111, also in August 1996. Hard Traveling Heroes, The Next Generation, Chapter 4, Final Appeal.
We get some nice legal puns, right?
I know.
No, I'm totally wrong, dude. It doesn't look like he took over until after 0 hour.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought 0 hour seemed familiar, but it was like it was either right before or right after. Yeah, okay. So it might have been right after 0 hour. Because that might have been, I think that might have been the point where they're like, okay, we're gonna kill off Oliver Queen and bring in Connor. So
yeah, so somewhere between 91 and 100 where Dixon took over. So
yeah,
he was writing. He did 97.
Because I'm pretty sure I think they
96.
introduced Connor like around that time too. So yeah, he was probably brought in around that point. But
93 was his first. Number 93 was his first issue.
Oh, okay.
So that would have been January of 95. I thought he was on there a lot longer than that. So again, wrong for the second time today.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm trying to remember, because Mike Rowe, I think, was there to like issue 80 or so, and then I forget who filled in between 80 and 93.
Looks like you had several different fill-ins.
Yeah. Because I know Ollie did take like a solo road trip in there somewhere too. So met all these guest stars. He was like Huntress, Deathstroke, Terminator. See, kids, back in the day, he was a fancy man. He was Deathstroke, the Terminator.
Yes.
Because didn't Wolfman and Perez want to call him like just the Terminator, but a certain movie was coming out in the 80s, so they like had to tackle like Deathstroke, the Terminator.
I don't remember that. Maybe that.
I thought I heard something like that, but it's like but then it's funny because like these days they just drop the Terminator and it's just Deathstroke, and it's like if that rumor's true, it's like that the Deathstroke part was the part was tacked on, and that's all that survived.
That's all it survived, yeah.
I mean, unless there were more legal hassle, and they're just like, just drop the Terminator. All right, so yeah, Green Arrow 111, same creative team as 110. Aaron Rayner had set up cameras in Connor Hawke's hotel room. Whoa! Originally, Crackshot was sent to kill Green Arrow, but now she seems more interested to make out with him.
Yeah, that conversation he had with Hatchet was like, and you told her there was no double entendre. You told her, like, really? How could you? Okay, whatever, bro. Let's go with it.
I mean, what kind of double entendres could you use to say kill a guy? Yeah, do him quick. Okay, boss, we'll do. Therefore, Rayner orders Hatchet to send an additional kill team to the hotel. After being insecure at the beginning, Connor slowly is able to relax and enjoy the intimacy with Crackshot. I bet he is. But from the corner of his eye, he spots the approaching kill team just in time for Crackshot and him to react. Aaron Rayner watches the fight on the monitor and is not pleased by the performance of his men. Green Lantern joins his father, although he has no clue about what is happening at the hotel. Meanwhile, Green Arrow and Crackshot flee from the hotel and get unexpected help from Eddie Fires, who just arrived in Desolation. Fires has bad news about Aaron Rayner. Not only is he stealing computer chips, but he also purchased a kind of laser beam from Russia.
Laser.
Russia. Of course, thanks to the satellite, this laser beam is now located in Earth's orbit.
I wonder if it was made by the Alan Parsons Project. Sorry.
Preparation H. Oh my. I forgot to turn to I forgot to plug in my computer, but at least the cord's right here. Okay. With Crackshot's help, Arrow and Fires are able to infiltrate the military base, and Connor waits for an opportunity to talk to Cal about the actual plans of his father. Cal listens to Green Arrow, but before he can take his father to task, him and the others are spotted by security guards and the fight begins. Before Green Lantern reaches his father, Aaron Rayner activates the satellite and plans to point the laser beam at Washington, D.C. To save the city's citizens, Green Lantern has no alternative but to head into space again, while Green Arrow handles Hatchet. Cal is able to destroy the satellite, which he makes an X-Wing fighter.
He makes an X-Wing and takes out the Death Star, yeah.
I was going to say, I wonder if this Green Arrow creative team had fun with that. They're like, oh man, we can make up whatever crap we want, man. You got a magic ring.
That's right.
As he returns, Aaron Rayner is just pulled from debris which fell at him after an explosion. It turns out that this man is not Cal's father, Aaron, but his uncle, Zachary Rayner. Before he dies, Zachary confesses that he has not seen his brother in years. And then somewhere in Colorado, a man receives the message that his brother is dead.
And that's why his first appearance is in this issue and not the last issue.
Oh, yes. Okay, when you said Aaron Rayner, I thought you were talking about the uncle. Okay, yeah.
And then we don't see him again until the Power of Ion, which then gets nuked by New 52, but now is unnuked because of Rebirth. So whatever that means.
I guess it was his next appearance with Power Ion. I thought for some reason it was closer to like issue 150, like when Cal originally gets like up his power up. But yeah, I guess it is Ion.
He has one appearance in the Green Lantern title. He does show up in the Green Lantern Secret Files. Kyle sketchbook. Who was offered the ring before Kyle?
Oh, jeez.
Oh. I guess that's on our did we already do that one, or no? Green Lantern Secret Files. When was that?
No, I don't. No.
July of 1998.
Yeah, no, we're not there yet. So
nope, not there yet. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's we're still playing with under the presumption. It's like, oh yeah, he was just in the right place at the right time. It's not.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we'll get there.
Yeah. So see. Of course, he fell for it. It looked like him, but it was his uncle, not his father.
His uncle, not I got it. I know, but still, he's an artist. He's trained to look.
But did he seem a little too relieved? Where it's just like, yeah, it's not your father, but your uncle was
uncle just died. Yeah,
and a major jerk who just tried to nuke Washington.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shouldn't you be worried of like, wait, if my uncle's up to this crap, does that mean my father's up to this crap too?
Yeah. I guess we'll find out in the Power of Ion.
Yeah.
What's that, next year?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't think I charted that far well.
Well, you charted Rebirth, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm to like, but it's like
when did the
January or February. So yeah, I didn't go any further. I don't think I made much further than Rebirth.
Power of Ion.
Yeah, because he doesn't become Ion until Hal's back, right?
I don't remember.
Because I know he gets the power up around 150, but I don't think he becomes like full Ion until after Hal's back. Hey kids, what is the sound of Googling?
That's it. Let's see. Year.
I beat you there.
I think it's 2002.
Oh, is it? Here we go. Yeah, the power of Ion. Oh, okay. I think it's a story arc. Is okay, yeah. Okay, now I'm remembering this, right? Yeah, it's the Judd Winnick run from issue 142 to 150.
Okay.
I'm assuming the trade was the power of Ion. So
I thought it was a series, but there is an Ion series that comes.
Yes.
After.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Of. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I am remembering right. So yes, so he does run into his father around the 150 area.
And,
okay. Yeah.
Once again, I am remembering wrong. So.
Well, you remembered it was Ion. It was just earlier than you thought.
Yeah, it's just earlier, just a little earlier.
Let me pull up the schedule real quick. So yeah, 150. I mean, we might actually get to that this year. So
let's see, that is about.
It's either this year or early next year. Because I remember seeing it on the schedule somewhere. So
20 weeks. So 6 months. So that would be like September, right? October.
We'll see, because remember, we have summer of '69 in July.
Yeah, and JLA.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes. Yes, we'll start issue 140 like the third week of December, and then 150 will be in an episode like towards the end of January. So yeah, so December, January time. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yep.
Man, we'll only have like 30, little over 30 issues of the series left until Rebirth. Then, I mean, we still got to do the Spectre because something happens in Final Night.
Yeah. But yeah, remember we threw in summer '69. We threw in those Spectre issues. So yes, Green Lantern Rebirth. Will, you're waiting until April for a Green Lantern Rebirth. So
another year.
Next April, not this year.
A year, yes, a little over a year and a month.
But again, most of it's Green Lantern now. We don't got to deal with Dark Stars or Guy Gardner anymore for the most part.
That's true. I mean, there's the Circle of Fire crossover. That was that was after Winnick's run, wasn't it? I think that was. Is that Brian K. Vaughan?
I'm trying to remember. I believe I have it on here. Where's that at? Yeah. I think it's right after Winnick, because I have it between like. It's around the 120. It's around right when Judd Winnick starts. So yeah, I don't remember who writes it, but yeah, it's around that time. So.
And then there's like the Last Will and Testament of Hal Jordan. Will World is a hardcover, graphic novel. There's several 1 or 2 things that come out before we get to the Rebirth proper.
Yeah. What's that other hardcover? Fear? Is it Fear Itself?
Fear Itself? Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, but yeah, a lot in April. Yeah, we got the Justice League Midsummer's Nightmare, and then like I said, we'll do the crossover with me and little Justice League show. Do the first 4 issues of JLA. Oh, and then Green Lantern Flash, Faster Friends. So yeah, so April's gonna be a lot of like Justice League and team ups game. Except for the first episode in April. Something with Night final.
I don't. What is that? Well, something happens to Fear.
Then they go. Then the next episode they go to someone's funeral.
Yeah, I don't know who that would be for. I wonder. I have no clue.
There seem to be a lot of women parading up to the.
Do we see? Oh, okay. This is spoilery. I think I may have mentioned it when we were chatting last time, because I read Godhead, Green Lantern, New God's Godhead. All 18 issues of that crossover from the New 52.
I am God.
That's right. Carol and Kyle get together.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, wait, what? What's going on
Mhm.
here? Okay, I missed a lot. I need to catch up on these issues.
New 52.
New 52.
Somehow New 52 opens up. Hal is with Carol, and yes, we slowly work the Hal and Carol.
And Sinestro and Hal are just hanging out because they're best buds. And Sinestro's the Green Lantern.
He gets a ring back.
2814, and Hal's not.
It's kind of like we're kind of doing a reboot, but the book was selling really good. So when we go to New 52, we kind of don't, we don't reboot, but we're kind of rebooting.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, just
again, I think that everyone says it. It's like, Green Lantern and Batman. Those were the two things that were selling the best. So guess
they
what?
didn't
Amount
touched.
Of rebooting.
Yeah.
Because Jeff Johns was still on Green Lantern, right?
Yeah, I think so. He just finished like War of the Green Lanterns.
Yeah,
it was the ending of GLC and Green Lantern. Wow, good time.
Because as soon as New 52 opens up, that's when they did the Court of Owls and Batman. Which I believe Scott Snyder, or was it Scott Snyder? Yeah, who said that was supposed to be. Well, remember, right before New 52, you had Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson running around as Batman. And supposedly Scott Snyder had that planned as the Court of Owls as like a Dick Grayson story, but then they're like, oh no, we're making him Nightwing again. So he kind of had to like split it between Nightwing and Batman. New 52.
New 52.
But no, a few months ago, there was a bunch of stories coming out about the New 52 about all the trouble it was, and like, when it first started, and like even like Scott Snyder just Scott Snyder had some story about, I don't know, the Dido or somebody was getting on him about something. And he's like, I just remember standing in the middle of a Target yelling into my phone, well, they could just rip up my contract then.
I remember reading that. Yeah, it's the oral history of the New 52 or something like that. Yeah.
Because I was like, because it was sometime last year. Because I said the Lilith, I'm like, why is this all coming out now? She's like, oh yeah, those NDAs probably expired. It's been 10 years. I'm like, oh, okay.
The New 52 is 10 years ago. Oh my God.
I know. That's what we were talking about the other day. I'm like, oh my God.
The death of Superman is 30 years ago.
I still remember tracking that issue down.
I was working in a comic shop at the time. It was
were you?
Quite a wild time. Quite a wild time.
It wasn't my official store at the time, but I went I bought it at the comic shop that's like my regular store now. I mean, 92. What was I was like 14. Yeah. I was 14, and now I'm like I'm gonna be 44 in April, because it's the same guy who like owns the place. He's like the only employee. I'm thinking, man, this dude must feel old.
Yeah.
I've been coming in here for 30 years, and you've been there the whole time. All right, Will. So anything else?
No, I thought this was a decent little crossover. I will, I guess, reiterate. I'm probably sure I've said this enough that you're sick of it, but as important to comics history and
Jordan.
Oh, not that.
Exactly,
okay.
Yeah. I really think that ultimately, the hard traveling heroes, the Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams stories, really kind of led to Hal being a toy salesman. Okay. I mean, I think it worked well for Green Arrow because he got to be the hothead loudmouth, but they tried to make Hal the straight man, and they just kind of drained him of this, of the power of the character, really, because he's a test pilot. He's Chuck freaking Yeager, right? And it wasn't until Rebirth that the character kind of, I feel like, recovered. And that's because of Jeff Johns. So, God, what was that? So it was 35 years. It took 35 years for the character to recover from that storyline.
Well, I think it started there. It's like they wanted him to be so many things. I mean, they wanted him to be like the military man and like the cop, but it's like, but then you also wanted him to be this maverick test pilot. But then after Hard Traveling Heroes, you wanted him to be like a deeper person.
Yeah.
I mean, they just kept adding stuff on top. It just seems like, well, you know what, pick a direction and go in it, because you can't be going in all these directions at the same time.
Everywhere, yeah. You know, and he gave up the ring. How many times did he give up the ring? You know, I mean, there was a simplicity and an economy to his character before Hard Traveling Heroes.
Yeah,
you know, but
which we'll get to, because we're going to come up like almost right. You know, I think we're doing up to 74, and Hard Traveling Heroes started in 76.
But don't get me wrong, Green Lantern, Green Arrow 76 really amped. I mean, it stretched comics into new ground that they had never been into before, because they're talking actually about overpopulation. They're talking about drug abuse and things that were not in comics at that time, because they were only for kids or slow adults. I guess I'm a slow adult, so but I mean, because of the work they did, comics as a whole, comics in North America got better. But I really think that some of those stories were kind of at the expense of Hal, his character. And so I'm conflicted about them. They're awesome, but
like I love Denny O'Neil. Like, I love his Batman stuff. I even love what he did on Iron Man. I mean, but it's like, Hard Traveling Heroes was a very grounded story, and Green Lantern is like
not
sci-fi. yeah. Which, I mean, it would have worked good for one issue, but like, how long did Hard Traveling Heroes go?
It went from 76 to 89.
Yeah,
so it went for 14 issues, and then we were left with so Green Lantern was canceled and was relegated to backups in the Flash for a few years. And then number 90, it came back with, I think, Mike Grell on art. And I don't remember if Denny was writing it then or not, but then it was it's in that Space Traveling Heroes hardcover, 90 through like 106. It's interesting how many of the issues of the Silver Age Green Lantern have been reprinted. You've got everything up to 106. You have these two Green Lantern, the Silver Age omnibuses get you all the way up to 75. You got Hard Traveling Heroes up there, which gets you 76 through 89. Space Traveling gets you 90 through 106. And then there's 3 Tales of the Green Lantern trades that kind of pick up in there. And then there's a hardcover of the Green Lantern Corps, issues 205 through the end of it, I think, 222. Is that right? I think it's 222.
Yeah, 222 or 223. Yeah.
So there's a lot of those issues that have been reprinted. And one of these days, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read all of them. There's actually a really awesome reading guide posted on Reddit. I don't know. I'll see if I can find the link and I'll send it to you. But it's this guy said, "Hey, here's how I read it." Sit down and read it on Reddit. How cool is that? Okay, I've blathered on enough about my great love of Hal Jordan. So
that's of course.
I of course love Hal Jordan.
I told you, man. July, man. We're gonna be covering some of that Silver. We're covering some of that Silver Age stuff.
That's right. The end of the Silver Age run.
He's gonna be so happy, kids. All right. So should we get out of here?
I think so. I think we've done our duty to the core. This week.
All right. So next week we'll be covering Green Lantern 78 and 79. And since we only have 2 issues, I tacked on that Green Lantern Annual 5. That's the Green Lantern Legends of the Dead Earth. So
gotcha.
We'll do that there in 2 weeks. Oh, it's here in 2 weeks, kids. Final night, 1 through 4. Green Lantern 80 and the return of our friend Dr. Light. And a little something called Parallax Emerald Knight.
What could that be?
Well, which will epilogue in 3 weeks in Green Lantern 81 and 82. Mostly
Nice.
81.
Mostly 81.
All right. So, yes, send your thoughts on all of that on Will's favorite character. Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can follow Sector 2814 on Facebook, on Twitter. Join the Green Lantern fan group on Facebook. Find links to all the various social medias for all the shows we do. Links to the YouTube channel. This and every episode we do will be up on YouTube. Again, interviews going up there. We got Annie Chang from Peacemaker. We just talked to Jed McKay on Friday. Clay McLeod Chapman's coming back this Friday. Once again, he's going to talk Villains for Hire issue 2. And I got another, hopefully another interview in the works. We'll see if that, hopefully that comes to fruition. So YouTube channel. Most importantly, if you can, please subscribe to the Patreon. Once again, we're out here on our own, paying for this out of our pockets. So every little bit helps. By the way, Will, got your payment. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
So Patreon, join. You get early access, the creator interviews. You get Mr. DG Chichester. You get early access to him every month when Lilith and I talk to him.
I got the good mic out for you guys.
That's right. And of course, Patreon exclusive superhero movie brackets. Join and catch up. We just did the second round this weekend. Find out who won worst movie between the 2015 Fantastic Four and X-Men Apocalypse.
That's tough, man. That is tough.
I know, they're only like I forgot they're only like a year apart because the Apocalypse was 2016 and they're both Fox. So I mean, it was close. A year apart, both Fox productions. It's like, ooh.
I still have to. I know what I have to go with, but it's a hard. It's.
I know.
If
it's the one I did, yeah, the one I went with won, but it's like, oh, it swept. It swept. But you gotta subscribe to find out, kids. All right, so find all that and Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks merch, all at Linktree linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. All right, and remember, you can find Matt Kona not only on the episode 153 of the Quantum Zone on Capes and Lunatics podcast. You can also find him at every social media outlet at Matt Koenig, MATTKONA. Go check him out. He's rejuvenated. Looks like a young boy again. So check him out. All right, Will, master of the core, master of the quantum zone, master of the crossover division, master of all the creativity. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Walred. That's at WALLRED for Gmail, for Twitter, for Facebook, and some of those other social media places that I'm sure I've forgotten about. But you can also find all kinds of cool stuff out about Crossover Division at crossoverdivision.com. Line art is finished for the 3rd issue, and we'll be sending it to the printer very, very soon. So I'm very excited about that. Doing the Kickstarter fulfillment. Also, if you are interested in Vampires, Diary of Night, you can check out diaryofnight.com. And obviously, you have excellent taste, so you love the character Quasar, as do we. You can check out the Quantum Zone at quantumzone.org. Oh, and I'm also
get a package every other day.
What?
I'm also I do a weekly podcast with good friend Kevin Joseph, and we interview Kickstarter creators, because we're both Kickstarter creators as well, who have comics projects on Kickstarter. While we talk to them about it, and they explain themselves. So.
What was the name of that? Because I was looking for that, but a couple days ago and I couldn't find it.
Explain Yourself.
Explain Yourself. Okay.
Kickstarter Roundtable. Yep, and it's You can look up like Kevin Joseph. I think it's under his YouTube, and then it's on some of the podcasting channels too.
Very good.
Or I can send it to you as well.
Okay, very good.
I hope it's going somewhere nice.
Me too.
Ew.
I, of course, love Hal Jordan.
Oh wait, we mentioned Matt Koenig. Come on.
See you later, bunkies.
I thought they were Boston Pizza owners.
That's an old school joke right there.
Batman, my favorite character.
Wrong show, Ray. All right, come back, kids. In 1 week, remember Green Lantern 78 and 79 and Green Lantern Annual 5. And I'll let you know what I think. Give you some thoughts on the Batman.
I love Batman.
Don't worry, Ray. I won't leave you hanging. If you don't see it. He said he might watch it when it comes to TV.
But he loves Batman.
I know. All right, kids. Come back next time. And remember, don't trust your crazy uncle or the blondes he tries to hook you up with. Good night.